Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are going to have a little bit of a weird show. We're going to get caught up on just what we did over Thanksgiving break, and then we're going to talk about the Video Game Awards. We were supposed to get together last week in person, but fate had other plans. Fate in the name of a stomach virus. Um,
Yeah, you keep that down there.
yeah. I was like, you know what? Sharing is caring, but I'll keep this to myself. Um, so yeah, lots of plans last week just blew up, but we're here now. So we were gonna kind of do a weekend checkup, but that's gonna be part of our show.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I could mention that's not on the script is I have been reading Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman crossover part two, the second one. So it's not the one that made a movie of. It's the one after that.
Is that the one that everyone like makes the meme of, where it's like, this is where my parents died? Ah, that's a cow bummer.
That's probably the first one. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. This one involved Bane getting loose in the Ninja Turtle universe. It was actually
That's
pretty good.
that's pretty cool, actually. Hey, what's up, work? How you doing?
Um,
Um, but
yeah. So there's a fun fight between Damien and Raphael.
okay.
Just some cool stuff in this crossover. I
Hmm.
really liked it. So I'm hoping they'll make a animated movie of this one too. That would make a good animated movie.
Okay. I do know that next week we're going to be having our book club. Did you end up starting the silver chair?
I finished Silver Chair.
Okay.
I just started the Boy and His Horse. Is that
Ho-
what's
ho-
called?
Horse and his boy.
Horse and His Boy. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so
So
bad at getting these titles right. Yeah.
you're good. You're good. So I think next week we can just talk about the first four, because really the first four are like these are our main characters, and then the next two are like the origins of good and evil, and then the last battle is, the final battle between good and evil. So I think next week we could just talk Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe through Silver Chair.
Okay. Well, so we'll probably make this a two-parter. We'll do
Sure.
that in December, then follow up in January. I did talk to my friend Daniel, who's kind of a C.S. Lewis expert. He will be on the show next week.
Nice.
So we'll have a fun conversation.
Cool.
So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I think that's it for checkout. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what movies we watched during Thanksgiving break.
Do you want to talk the scoops first, or?
I'm sorry. I totally forgot about the news. Yes, let's talk
Yeah.
about some news. Uh, I got these from Reddit. So, who got these from X or Twitter, whatever it's called these days. This is a scooper named Daniel RPK. Um, he's generally pretty accurate. Um, so he talked about what is coming out next year. So I just thought, or not next year, but the next several years. Um, so next year, the only Marvel movie coming out is Deadpool 3. And from what I hear, there's a lot riding on this because they have to win the audience back with this one.
Yeah, they definitely do. I hear that it's also like this one they're very confident in too.
Well, sure. I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I would feel like that's pretty hard to screw up. I'm not saying they can't screw it up. I'm sure they could.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So
They brought back Patrick Stewart for Multiverse of Madness, and his stuff was arguably the worst stuff in that movie.
yeah. So for those who don't know, spoilers for the Marvels. The Beast did appear in a post-credit segment. Kelsey Grammer.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that's going to tie into Deadpool. Um,
Yeah.
so we can talk about that more when we talk about Marvels here in a little bit. But
Mhm.
so here's some of the stuff coming after Deadpool three, according to Daniel RPK. We got Spider-Man 4, which I've been hearing rumors about anyways. Shang-Chi 2, Fantastic Four we knew about, Secret Wars we knew about. But then he said that Thor 5, Eternals 2, Doctor Strange 3, Black Panther 3 are all in development on the movie side. And then on the TV side, we're getting Miss Marvel season 2, Moon Knight season 2, and She-Hulk season 2.
So here's the thing: Miss Marvel season 2 does not surprise me because I know that that was actually one of the more popular of the shows.
Well,
The
well,
other two surprised me.
I wouldn't say popular. I'd say well received of the shows. The ratings
Yeah,
were
sure,
terrible.
sure. And whenever I say popularity, I mean like, man, nobody crapped on this show.
Yeah. Moon Knight. You know, we've talked about Moon Knight on here. We liked parts of it, and parts of it we were kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
She-Hulk. I still think She-Hulk's a great character that, with good writers, that could be a great show. So I'm curious to see if the same writing team will be behind it. If the same writing team, forget it. That's just go ahead and write it off. But so we're getting more Thor, more Eternals, more Doctor Strange, more Black Panther, more Shang-Chi.
Do you want to know what I think they should have done with Thor?
What's that?
I think they should have fridged him, because the problem is with this whole saga that they've got set up. Our villain, no matter, and really, we're at the point where they can change it to Doctor Doom, and it probably wouldn't even matter because we don't see a threat, no matter what. They probably should have used Thor as like the first major death for your new villain.
The problem with that is Thor is kind of like the last star they have left.
Yeah, definitely.
They've got rid of Cap and Iron Man, so I mean that's the big problem with that idea.
I mean, so and in my thing, it's like he's the last of the big three that's still alive. His death would be like, oh man, this Kang guy is tough news or whatever.
Yeah, but you would kill the box office. Well, I mean, their box office is already dead, so I don't
Yeah.
know. But so I guess my point is, Deadpool 3, yay, X-Men's coming one day, and then it's like we're gonna get Fantastic Four, but then it's gonna be more of the same after that.
Well, and even then, apparently they're having trouble getting someone to commit to Reed Richards because it's a Sue Storm movie.
Yeah, it sounds like Pedro is signed on. I think they're just waiting to announce all that.
Can I go ahead? I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm not a fan of the casting at all.
You want to know what my theory is?
What's that?
On why they cast Pedro? I think I heard this rumor a long time ago, so this could be totally false. I think the movie is going to start out with Sue already having a kid, Franklin.
Okay.
And they're going to play with the idea of we don't know who the dad is. It's either Reed or Namor. And I think that is going to be an ongoing conflict between those two.
How does that work with like the feminism thing?
She's an independent woman that don't need no man.
Okay.
See, you set me up. Now I walked right into that. I'm gonna be canceled. You got me. You got me. It was good. It was good.
I don't know. I mean, just in general, like I like Pedro Pascal, but now I feel like he's just kind of like this is gonna sound really. This is the only way that I can put this. And don't worry, I'm about to get canceled too for what I'm about.
Okay, we'll be in jail. We'll be in internet jail together.
I mean, like, I just feel like he's just kind of hoeing around because he'll say yes to anything.
There we
like,
go.
like, well, and you know that I mean that's the only reason that's the only thing that I can think of. Like, I love Pedro Pascal and things he's been in, but now I'm just like, man, you're saying yes to everything.
I'm picturing there's some. I guess it was Saturday Night Live where he's wearing drag. I'm picturing him on a street corner.
Oh man,
uh,
I still think that because it's Matt Shackman, I would have just loved him to get like Glenn Howerton to be Reed Richards because Matt Shackman like got most of his experience on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He knows Glenn very well, who plays Dennis. I think Glenn Howerton would have been a great choice.
yeah, so I guess it's weird. Like I said, I think Disney's like, we gotta get everybody excited. Here's Deadpool, and then it's like, okay, and now here's more of the same. It's just you've got to get to X Men so much faster. They're taking so long.
I know. Um, I mean, I can go ahead and talk about my opinion of uh, the Marvels
Yeah, let's
since we're
let's go ahead and talk about the Marvels. Get that out
so,
of the way.
the next segment is going to be it's been Thanksgiving break. What are some things that we watched? So first thing, yesterday, my brother and I, my family, we saw the Marvels, and I mean, this movie's harmless. Like, it's not as bad as people are saying. It's not great, but like, there's nothing overtly offensive about this. Like, this isn't even the most feminist movie I've ever seen. Like if we're talking about like overt feminism, Barbie was worse than this,
Oh
and Barbie
yeah,
was. um, there's only one part where like so they go to a planet where their only like language is song, and so there is a musical number. And I mean, I was like, "Am I having a stroke? Like, what is happening?" But other than that, like that was overtly terrible. But other than that, like this is a very harmless movie. Like, I had fun watching it. It really reminded me of like, I mean, it really reminded me of like the 2000s Fantastic Four movies. That's the vibe I got from this movie.
okay,
Just extremely harmless. I don't think it's as bad as people say. It's not great. It is better than the first Captain Marvel. It is miles better than Quantumania. Quantumania and Eternals were offensive. This is harmless.
okay. So it's pretty mid low tier, but it's not like the worst thing you ever saw.
I looked at my tier list and I'm like, this is either high C tier or low B tier.
Okay. Yeah, I will never see this movie. I just
Sure.
the character Carol Danvers. I'm not even talking about Brie Larson. Just the character Carol
No,
Danvers. I
un-
cannot stand.
understood completely. Keep in mind the most interesting character was Kamala, followed by Monica, and then Carol.
Yeah.
This movie I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to. This movie made me want to watch Miss Marvel, and I'm gonna watch it because everything that had to do with her family is in it. Like everything going on, that's great. That's like, I mean, like it's just all like the Kree scroll stuff that I'm like, man, I don't give a
Yeah.
crap about what's going on here. Like if you just like if this could just be like a comedy and it's just Kamala at home and her family, like this would be a great movie. Um, but and
Yeah.
I don't know if we're keeping track of who like the worst uh Marvel villain is. But Dar Ben is definitely the most nothing that
Oh
I've
yeah.
ever seen.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, how are the special effects and how much the movie was special effects?
There were actually not as many as I would have thought. There's actually only one shot where I'm like, oh, that looks pretty bad. The rest actually wasn't terrible.
Okay.
Um,
But
but but there weren't as many shots as you would have thought, um, because the whole plot is if they use their powers, they switch places. So they
mhm.
have to be like, Oh, let's not use our powers.
Okay. So reason I'll bring this up again. We talked about another movie, but the budget for this is rumored to be north of 250 million. Um, so I'm also hearing chatter that they cut a romance from this between Monica and Carol. I don't know how true that is.
That would have been weird. Like just based on the fact that she's Aunt Carol and Monica Rambeau was a kid, and like Carol changed her diapers.
Oh,
Like,
you know what? I think I'm getting the rumor wrong. I think it may
okay,
be between Carol and Valkyrie.
so they hint at that.
Okay.
It's hinted that they tried it and they broke up.
Okay. So I mean, there's rumors they cut that because of South Park. I don't think they would have cut it because of South Park because I think that was too soon.
Definitely, definitely. Nothing about this movie was affected by South Park.
Yeah, because I think this was too far down
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
track. But
and honestly, watching this, I stand by this. This is not the movie that South Park was talking about. I think that's what we thought it was going to be going in, but this is
yeah,
not the movie that South Park was talking about. Like I said, this movie is harmless.
okay.
Um, actually, you bring up the budget. One thing that I did say walking out of it is like, I feel like I didn't watch a movie. I feel like this was just an extension of Miss Marvel and WandaVision, which, by the way, from what I can tell, Miss Marvel and WandaVision are kind of like required watch. Not required, like I got a feel for Kamala Khan, but I definitely want to experience more of her backstory now. But like this has next to nothing to do with Secret Invasion. Um, this definitely feels like a television crossover that they
Yeah.
released in theaters.
Yep.
Once again, harmless. That
So
I think that's my review of it. Is this movie is harmless.
I'm curious if we get Captain Marvel 3. And the only reason I say that is if they're introducing the X-Men when we finally get the Rogue versus Carol Danvers movie.
I I don't think so. I think Brie Larson's done.
I do too. I do too. I'm just throwing that out there because I would think that Eternals 2 is done also, but we're apparently getting that also. I'm just saying that the weird decisions that Disney makes, I don't know.
Oh no, I mean like they can make it. They can make Eternals 2. They can make Captain Marvel 3. I'm just saying that if they make Captain Marvel 3, Brie Larson is not going to be interested.
Yeah, I could see that. I could also see them saying this movie bombed so bad that we're gonna recast her or something along those lines.
I would not be surprised if they just, they could do the Rogue takes her powers thing, and to keep the Captain Marvel name going, they can give Captain Marvel to Monica.
You know what? Instead of doing Captain Marvel 3, just do a Rogue movie and just have
Mhm.
Carol as the first 5 minutes of the film, and then you write Brie Larson out at that point.
I could probably see them, maybe not a Rogue movie, but I could definitely see like an X-Men movie where like the Brotherhood of Evil is the bad guys, and part of the plot is Rogue being conflicted because she starts off on the Brotherhood, and then they have to get her over to the X-Men side. Like I could see something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, it probably wouldn't even be like the beginning of the X-Men movie. It would probably be a post-credit sequence of a previous movie.
Yep. I can see
Um,
all that.
yeah. Well, you watched a movie that I'm very curious about. So first of all, Marvel's very harmless movie. You will not lose anything from watching it. You won't really gain anything watching it, except you might want to go watch Miss Marvel after it because she's fantastic. So that's my review of it. Um, Now you watched a movie. I'm very curious because I'm going to go ahead and let you know one thing. This movie that you watched,
Hmm.
I do not like it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So you watched Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
Uh huh.
Okay, what did you think of it?
Um, I think I have mixed feelings about this film.
Okay.
I was For those who don't know, this is from the creator of or the director of Fifth Element. He independently financed his film. The reason I brought up the budget of Captain Marvel is I think this one cost like 230 million to make, and it is visually stunning film. It is
It is, yes, absolutely.
graphically amazing. Like every shot, you could tell that they spent 230 million on this film. Now this was 2017, so there's been inflation since then. But I'm just kind of comparing this budget to the Marvels, saying where is Disney spending all their money when they say a budget is 230 million compared to something like this?
You know what? I don't know anything. I think we need to just talk about the fact that none of us actually know anything about special effects. I wonder how much of this has to do with just pure skill with the product. Like maybe the people who are working on Marvel are like new and they are not familiar with their tools and they're just not good at it.
I also think they're probably rushed. I think
Yeah.
all these Marvel movies are being rushed. So anyhow,
Yeah.
I thought this movie was pretty good until Rihanna showed up. When Rihanna showed up, I wanted to hurt something. uh, she just I felt like it brought the movie to a grinding halt when Rihanna showed up. Uh, the other complaint I'd have is the main character, and I can't think of the actor's name, but
Dane
Valerian.
DeHaan. Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, he's doing this weird Keanu Reeves impersonation throughout the whole movie.
I think that's just him. Like, have you seen him in anything else?
I mean, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, right? When he Green
Yeah,
Goblin.
he was
Yeah,
Green Goblin.
yeah.
Did you see Chronicle?
No, I've never seen Chronicle.
Ooh, that's like the best thing he's ever done.
Okay, but I thought this was not. I didn't think this was like the greatest movie, but I thought this is not a bad sci-fi movie just to turn on and turn your brain off. This like you said, this is harmless. That's
Sure.
how I thought of this film.
Sure. So my thing is I this was actually, whenever this came out, this was actually a film that I was like very much anticipating. I was excited for it. I was following it, and so I don't like it partially because of the disappointment. Like
Okay.
I would imagine that you didn't go into it with like a whole lot of expectation.
I forgot that this existed and just said, "Oh, this is on Amazon Prime," and hit play.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I had no expectations.
Okay.
Also, I'm getting this movie. I got this movie and the one the Wachowski brothers made.
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, I get these two movies mixed up because they both came out around the same time.
They did. That's another hot take of mine. I love Cloud Atlas.
Oh, see, Caleb, you got the weirdest takes. You really do.
I know I do. I don't know. I really couldn't even tell you why I love Cloud Atlas.
Channing Tatum, you have the biggest crush on him. That's probably
You know what? I do love Channing Tatum. I watched a video about all of his random cameos in movies like Bullet Train and Hateful Eight. It's just like Channing Tatum appears in everything for no reason, and I was like, yeah, he does.
yeah.
I was also very curious. I would love it if just in Deadpool 3, even if it was just for 2 seconds, because you know how Channing Tatum has like 3 seconds in every movie. Just have him show up as Gambit for like a minute. See what happens.
Yeah. So I think this is just one to when I was growing up I watched a lot of bad sci-fi movies that I just enjoyed watching, and I'm not saying it's a bad sci-fi movie, but this is if you like science fiction, this is definitely worth a watch.
This is something you're not going to be watching this on TNT. You're going to be watching this on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think what this movie was missing was like your Corbin Dallas type character, someone you could latch onto.
Yeah, that's because I actually didn't know that this was the Fifth Element guy, but you know what? That's really what it was missing. Because like Valerian, I'm just like, dude, I'm not getting any charisma from you at all. Like,
there's a couple of scenes where he's like, "Oh, okay, that was kind of cool," but then he's not.
You are not the John McClane in space.
Yeah, and I think that they were going, "Oh, we did." Chris Tucker, the last one. We'll get Rihanna for this one, which was like, no.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, um, I think
Harmless.
I think this is one a lot of people slept on. I think, you know what, give it a chance. It's not that bad.
You know what? I would agree. Give it a chance. I mean, I would. So here's the thing. I would say that about both of these movies, um, because you're not gonna. They're not so overtly offensive that you're gonna lose anything watching them.
Do you know the background on this movie at all?
No.
So this is a famous French comic
Oh,
from the 60s, 70s,
I did
Valerian
know that.
and
Yeah,
Laureline,
I
and
did.
that
I
this
did.
is Star Wars ripped off a lot of stuff from these comics.
Okay.
So like being frozen in carbonite, Slave Leia, all that stuff was ripped off from Valerian.
I thought we were gonna do a show called "We Have Star Wars at Home." We should have saved this.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to that, but yeah. Um, Another movie I kind of watched that I didn't mention to you.
Okay.
Sometimes I just watch people on YouTube react to movies just to see if I
Okay.
like the movie. So I haven't watched the full movie, but I got the gist of it. Was Ex Machina with
Oh, I love Ex Machina.
yeah. I want to watch the full movie now because
It's so good.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
was just gonna throw that one out there real quick. Ex Machina, pretty
Oh,
good.
it's that one is fantastic. So we've talked about some pretty harmless things. I'm gonna move on to something that I love that is also very harmful. um,
Harmful.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There's a show called Midnight Mass. We watched this over the course of the past couple weeks with my mom and my dad because we all love Mike Flanagan. For those who don't know, director of Doctor Sleep and Gerald's Game. He left. So um, he's just like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of whatever is about to happen. There he is.
I was trying to mute my mic and it just disconnected everything. Let me try this again.
I thought you just didn't want to be a part of the harmful things. um, anyway,
Yeah, carry on. I'm gonna eat something real quick
okay.
secretly. All right.
Secretly. Um, so anyway, we love Mike Flanagan, Doctor Sleep. He did House Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. Recently came out with the Fall of the House of Usher. This is the thing that he did that is like his like how like growing up you have this idea and you want to make it when you're an adult, but when you get in the industry you have to like earn your piece first. This is what he's been wanting to make since he was a kid, but
Yeah.
he had to do Dr. Sleep, he had to do Bly Manor, he had to do Hill House, he had to do things before anyone trusted him to do something original. Now this I can talk very little about because I want people to see this, but at the same time this has a very warped opinion on religion.
Really, I couldn't tell from the image there on the screen. Yeah.
Yes. So this is one of those things where I'm like, if you are, I would recommend this to strong Christians and atheists, no in betweens. If you're in between, this is gonna like, this is gonna like really mess with your head. It'll mess with your head either way.
Yeah. What's the streaming on?
Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah. It's 7 episodes. And it is very much there's a reason that Mike Flanagan is the chosen one by Stephen King, because this is very much like a Stephen King novel adaptation. Like I would you could have told me that this was a Stephen King novel that they adapted and I would have believed you. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to like tell anyone about. I want to tell people about this, but I can't tell any. everybody about this because like it's going into it knowing absolutely nothing is crucial. In fact, my dad had been trying to get me to watch this for a year, and I just never got around to it. And he would never tell me anything about it. And it wasn't until we finished House of Usher that he's like, "Okay, we're gonna watch the first episode of Midnight Mass now," and he just turns it on.
Yeah.
um, and then this is what we watch over the next couple weeks. Um, and my mom really likes this show, and you know, whenever things get sacrilege, like she's usually one to check out. And she told me there were some points where she almost checked out. But my mom really likes this too. So
Yeah.
uh,
You watch it. You watch this with your grandparents over Thanksgiving. Everybody, holding hands, like let's watch Midnight Mass. Yay!
Even speaking of grandparents, my papa loves this show. My nana will not watch the show. She used to be an avid King reader, but
Oh, okay.
not anymore. So she won't watch this. But my papa likes this too.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is just a great show. I think this is watching this is where I discovered, I think I'm done with ongoing TV. I think miniseries are the way for me now.
Yep. I years ago I decided I was not going to watch any shows unless the story was completed, and then I would watch them. I was
Yes.
I was just tired of watching shows and them getting canceled and never having resolution. So, yep.
Mhm. So, on a more lighter note, you watched a Wes Anderson.
I did. So what happened was the kids really wanted to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, so we made a deal with them. So we got Peacock on a Black Friday deal for cheap, and I was like, oh, they have Asteroid City on here. I've been wanting to watch that, so I watched this. This is one I need to watch a second time, and I haven't watched it a second time yet.
Okay.
It's a strange little movie. Not saying I didn't like what I was watching, but it was kind of like, what is this movie saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's funny? That's actually how I feel watching Midnight Mass until the very end. Whenever it comes out and says what it's saying, I'm like, what's happening here? What are you trying to say?
What's weird about this one is it's kind of a radio play going on.
Okay.
So you keep seeing the actors and director, and then you'll see the Asteroid City stuff. So it keeps jumping back and forth between those two. So like the radio play is Asteroid City. They're putting out a play, and they're talking about the playwright's life and all this stuff. So it keeps jumping between the two. But one of the actors, I can't think of his name, the main guy, the ones in all the Wes Anderson movies, which I know that does not narrow it down.
No.
One of the Wilson brother, or no, is he a Wilson? No, he's not a Wilson. That's Luke Wilson. It's the other guy, the one that's in Scott Pilgrim as the final bad guy.
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman, yes. Throughout the movie, he keeps questioning why, and he doesn't really get an answer at the end. So then looking back, and I kind of read some stuff after I watched the movie, I think this movie is about the pandemic, about and how people reacted to it. Because it's about them seeing alien, everybody gets quarantined, and they keep asking kind of why this is happening. And I don't want to give everything away, but so I think if you go into it thinking, oh, compare this to life right now and how we react to things like that, I think the movie makes more sense.
Okay. So I've actually only seen one Wes Anderson film.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I've only ever seen one.
Which one have you seen?
Moonrise Kingdom.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see Grand Budapest Hotel, but I just never gotten around.
I have not seen that one. Royal Tenenbaums is one of my favorite movies. I think it's just great. Fantastic Mr. Fox is great. He's just
Fanta- so Fantastic Mr. Fox came out in 2009, and that's whenever I was, kind of like, becoming a teenager and like, I don't need to watch stop motion or cartoons anymore. So that just came out at a bad time, and I never got around to it.
yeah, it's a great one. I love Wes Anderson movies. It's another thing that's like I was talking about Valerian earlier. It's just visually stunning. Just the way all the shots are set up,
I
and
definitely like his style.
yeah. Um, so yeah, this was not my favorite one, question mark. But I think if I revisit this one a few times, it may become my favorite one.
Okay.
It's one of those types of things. So yeah, I would definitely give this one a chance. Um, as usual, Wes Anderson movies, incredible cast, a lot of people in it, a lot of some of the jokes hit really hard. With Wes Anderson movies, it's not that the jokes hit harder; it's just weird scenarios that kind of draw you in, and it's just
Yep.
so quirky. So yeah,
Just everything you're saying, I'm just like, yeah, that is Moonrise Kingdom.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I would. I, I don't know if I was telling somebody to get into Wes Anderson, I wouldn't start with this one.
Okay.
I think that's how I would describe it. Yeah. Um, I'd watch Moonrise Kingdom or Royal Tenenbaums before I got around to this one. So
Okay. Gotcha. Well, now that we have gone from messed up to nice Wes Anderson, let's go back to messed up. Uh,
oh no.
I watched Emesis Blue. Um,
Okay. What'd you think of Emesis Blue?
so here's the thing. Um,
Oh, just real quick. What is this game? Team Fortress 2? Is that the game that?
Team Fortress 2.
Yeah. This is a fan film that someone made. Um,
This is film quality. Like, I mean, it's a fan film made through Source Filmmaker, but like, this is high quality stuff.
yeah.
uh, this here's the thing. I need someone who knows nothing about Team Fortress 2 to watch this.
I know nothing about Team Fortress 2, and I watched this.
Okay. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very interesting. I know nothing about. I let me refresh that or rephrase that. I know that there's Team Fortress 2, and I know that there's like different, like there's a saboteur, there's a blah blah blah. That's it. That's all I know is I know they have different roles. But
Okay, because I've this is one of the best adaptations of a video game I've ever seen, but I say that knowing all the in-depth lore about Team Fortress 2. So I needed someone's perspective who knows nothing.
let me say this: I don't fully understand everything that happened in this movie. Um,
Okay.
it was, but it felt like one of those horror films where I don't quite grasp everything that's happening. You're just kind of along for the ride.
Oh yeah.
Type,
Well, and
type.
there's a lot that even I don't understand what's going on in this movie. Even there are countless there are countless analyses on YouTube that I've watched trying to figure this movie out. I loved this movie, but man, I couldn't tell you what's going on half the time.
Yeah,
Uh, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like this is one of the best adaptations of a video game I've ever seen. um, and
yeah,
I love all the kingisms in it too.
yeah, yeah. This
Um,
it's
are you
it's very trippy, very dark, very. um, but I
uh,
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
yeah? Are you familiar with The Jaunt by Stephen King?
No.
Okay, so The Jaunt. This is something that I don't know how they would ever adapt this, but apparently it's on the payroll to be adapted. I don't agree with it, but there's this thing called jaunting. Essentially, teleportation has become the norm. It's as normal as getting on a plane and flying.
Okay.
However, um they send a rat through, and that rat goes insane and kind of like tears its eyeballs out. Then they send a rat that's asleep through, and everything's great. Then they send someone through who's awake, and like he comes out, he is messed up, PTSD, bleeding eyes, he goes crazy, and he says it's eternity in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so then, there's this guy, he doesn't tell his family all this because he doesn't want them to be scared of jaunting, but, he's a businessman, he jaunts all the time. So they all go. Well, the little boy, he doesn't, he holds his breath and pretends to be asleep because he wants to experience the jaunt. And he comes out and he's like, longer than you think, Dad. Longer than you think.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so then the kid goes crazy, and it's so
So this and the story you just told, it reminds me of Event Horizon.
yes.
Yeah.
So Emesis Blue is the closest thing that I will accept to a jaunt adaptation, because the
Yeah.
respawn machine is just jaunting.
Yeah, I could see
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah. I also really appreciate because what they did with the classes in this game is or in this movie is they brought them down to like a real level, because in the game, soldiers like this crazy PTSD ridden, like, I love war,
Yeah.
and like the medic is just this crazy scientist who has fun messing with people's hearts to make them uber, and he's like, and that's how I lost my medical license.
Hmm.
They really brought everything down, and I mean, this is just so good, but at the same time, this is also so messed up that I will have trouble recommending this to like just people,
Right.
because this is very messed up.
Yeah. I would say if you like Event Horizon, you might like this one. um,
Yeah. So, this is the more on the messed up side of video game horror, and this is a horror movie more than anything. You wouldn't expect that from Team Fortress, but it is.
yeah.
Uh,
And I think you can find us on YouTube if you want to watch it.
yes, yes, you can. Well, you watched a video game horror movie as well.
Yeah. Um,
What did you think about it?
thought it was all right.
Okay,
I won't say I loved it. I won't, I didn't hate it. It was just fine.
harmless.
Harmless. There you go. Uh, yeah, I think if you're not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, you may not enjoy this movie. I'd put it that way.
Okay, that's actually something that I've heard, that like they go deep into like adaptation lore and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of trippy dream sequences and stuff. And if you're going in expecting, I'm just gonna watch animatronics kill people for 2 hours, I would recommend that Nicolas Cage one,
Willy's Wonderland,
and Banana Splits,
yeah,
those types of movies. This
and
is
I
more for the
and I
fans. Yeah.
and I would recommend Willy's Wonderland. I love that movie. uh,
If you like cheesy sci-fi channel type quality movies, then yeah, sure. Really is one. Yeah. I mean, it's basically the same scene over and over for 2 hours of Nicolas Cage kills something, you know.
yeah.
So,
And then he plays pinball.
and then he plays pinball and cleans the diner.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't seen this. I'll get around to it eventually. Um, I think Matt Pat being in it is really funny.
Yeah, it is funny
Yeah.
that he's in it. Yeah.
And like, hi, I'm Ness. like, do you know what that means that Scott's trying to do? It means that Scott is trying to connect not only Undertale to Earthbound, but also to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Ness is in all three. He is Sans, he is a waiter in Five Nights at Freddy's, and he is a kid from Onyx.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even really any jump scares. My oldest is very skittish at these types of movies, and I think he jumped one time because there was a sound of a pan falling or something. That was it. It's not a. I think this was trying to figure out, is it a horror film or is it a kids scary movie? And I think they went more to kids scary movie route.
Sure.
Um,
Which I personally think that kind of loses what it is, because the whole thing with Five Nights at Freddy's is it's not for kids, but kids love it anyway, and that's what I find really funny about it.
yeah, I think that if there had been like a bite of 87 in this film where a kid got his head chopped, bit off or whatever, I think that, I think it would have been better. That is such a weird sentence I just said.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but yeah, if you like Five Nights at Freddy's, if you like theorizing, because I'm like, oh, does that mean that this character is this and that character is that? Da, 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 da,
So I know that there are like I know that there are like, the people who say that the books are canon. There are others who say that the books are canon, but it's an alternate reality. So we use the information from the books to solve the games. Is this just like another alternate reality thing then?
that's kind of how I'm taking it. Because in the movie, spoilers for a movie that no one cares, you're not going to care about those spoilers. If you play the games, you know all this stuff, or you watch people play the games. Mike has two siblings in this, Garrett and Abby. So the question is Garrett the crying child? Is Abbott baby? Is their parents? Is that Henry? You start theorizing on stuff. It's not in the movie, but it's like, oh, but if I connect this to the game, that would line up. This would line up. You know,
So Afton is not Mike's dad.
as far as we know, it could come out that, oh, I slept with your mother or whatever. We don't know that yet, but
It's just like an Xbox insult.
yeah, yeah. They're pulling things from the different games. Like Vanessa's in this and stuff. She's from the later games. So yeah, they're just kind of laying the groundwork in this movie. I think it'll get a lot more complicated as it goes on, a lot more twists and stuff.
It'll
So
be so the Saw movies are very much like a at this point they're a horror soap opera. I could see the Five Nights at Freddy's movies being kind of like that, where like, the first one's fun, but then like they set up something like they set up something in part two that doesn't pay off until part six, and like that's the Saw movies.
yeah, like Golden Freddy is in this, but if I was a general audience member, I would just assume that's Freddy and not realize it's a different character. That they look so much alike. I've been like, oh, okay, and not paying attention that there's five ghost
It's like
kids.
it's like, oh, they would Super Saiyan.
Well, he's not gold enough for me. It's a dark movie, so he looks like Freddy with just a different colored eye.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm not paying attention, you wouldn't think, oh, it's the same one. But you got to think there's five ghost kids. We're getting really into the weeds here. Um, so, but yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. If you like watching Matt Pat videos, you'll be fine with it. It's fun. If you are expecting a horror film with a high body count, no, go somewhere
Watch
else.
Emesis Blue.
Yeah, watch something else.
So, have you ever watched those kill counts with James A. Janice?
I think my oldest watches those, and
Okay,
I've watched a couple of him.
so he does like, what has the record for the highest kill count right now? It's Emesis Blue with over 800,000.
I think this one has like a kill count like 6, maybe. If you're not counting the dead kids, that's probably about right.
Yeah, it's about average.
Yeah.
Um,
And
well,
most of those happen in one quick 10-minute sequence.
gotcha.
so yeah.
So We have one more segment. This is something that I was very interested in trying, because I saw a lot of other people do it, and I want to be a conformist. So we have the Game Awards coming up, and I saw people like Moist Critical and Asmongold do this. So I kind of just want to go through the nominees and do like a live voting. I've already gone through like best esports game, athlete, event. I went through the esports ones because like these aren't interesting to talk about because like I know like maybe one or two from each category. Um, so I don't know what do you think would be fun to start off with? Yeah, anything
Uh,
to try?
let's do like best action adventure or best action game, something there.
Yeah, best action adventure. Okay. So we've got Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom. I think this one's pretty obvious for us, at least.
I mean, the only one I've played is Tears of the Kingdom.
Sure. That's what I mean. I've played Jedi Survivor and Spider-Man 2, and oh, why is Resident Evil 4 even on here? This is a remake, and
I
it's
mean, it's. I don't play Resident Evil games, but it's considered to be like the best of Resident Evil. So I could see like, oh, they remade it and it's still great. But yeah,
yeah,
it's not really a great. I mean, it's not a new idea or concept. I get what
yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so of these four, and yes, Resident Evil 4 is good, but I'm immediately taking points away because it's just a remake. Uh, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom. Now, as far as Spider-Man 2, my problem with Spider-Man 2, I've actually realized something. I don't like symbiotes.
Easy.
I don't know. Like, I just, these war of symbiotes, and there's like symbiote, like
Now
attack.
I will say this. I'm kind of tired of the Peter Parker has the symbiote story. I've seen that 100 times. So yeah.
Well, I'm just done with like the war of the symbiotes where like, Venom or Carnage or whoever takes over the city and there's like goop everywhere. Like Web of Shadows and like Marvel Spider-Man 2, they just remade Web of Shadows. I played Web of Shadows in 2008.
So I would agree. I feel like that is a 90s story idea, what you just described. Like they've
Yeah.
taken the Venom stories way past that.
And
I can't,
that's why I say I don't like symbiotes. I like
okay.
Venom, but I don't like, oh my god, it's Scream and Toxin and Riot and I'm eh. Now what
Well, I always liked the spawn of Venom, like those characters you just listed, but I think I would like something interesting done with them. I feel like, with the exception of Scream, most of them have not
yeah,
been fleshed out.
yeah. Now they did do one cool thing with anti Venom in Spider-Man 2. Do you know about this?
No.
So there comes a point where there is a Mr. Negative redemption arc in this,
Uh huh.
because Mr. Negative killed Miles's dad, and so
Spoilers, man. Come on.
uh, that was in the first game in like 2018.
Yeah, but I saw it. Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it, it's been 6 years. Have you not played the first one?
I have started the first one. I never finished it.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Continue.
Well, there's a Mr. Negative redemption arc. Well, this is going to be spoilers too. Um,
Fine. I don't know if I'll ever go back to finish it.
yeah,
The controls were a little bit too much for me.
yeah. We'll get to that with Spider-Man 2. They have something for that. Um, so Mr. Negative like that does something weird with like a piece of like Venom symbiote, and that's how they do the anti-Venom suit.
Hmm.
Is Mr. Negative like messes with it with his powers, so that you combine Mr. Negative and a Venom symbiote, you get anti-Venom. I thought that was really cool.
Isn't that how it happened in the comic books?
I don't know the origin of anti-Venom
Yeah,
actually.
I think that's what happened. Mr. Negative touched a Venom and made an anti Venom suit, if I
Yeah.
recall.
Which, by the way, I want to just throw this out here. I forgot the fact that Stephen Yoon was playing Sentry. Is Sentry or Hyperion?
Sentry.
Um, I always wanted Steven Yeun to play Mr. Negative, so I'm never gonna get that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, obviously Tears of the Kingdom,
Oh,
not
yeah.
question. Um, here's one that I want to go ahead and just get on with. Content Creator of the Year. I actually don't know any of these. I was curious if you knew any of these people.
Nope.
All right. Well, I have heard of Quackity, so we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I think I've heard of Quackity also, but yeah,
I have heard of
I've
Quackity.
heard that name.
Um.
Let's just start going through this quickly. Just
Yeah.
quick one,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
randomly.
Let's go best family game.
Okay. So that would be like, okay.
I have only played Wonder and Superstars. Wonder is phenomenal.
Pikmin 4 is great. I don't know if it's.
Would you put this as a family game?
That's what I was kind of wondering. I mean, it's. We've used this word way too much tonight, but it is harmless as far as like violence or anything. It's. But I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm just talking more like, is this too complicated for a 6-year-old?
That's what I was just thinking. The controls are probably too hard for a little kid.
Yeah.
I've heard Party Animals is a fun multiplayer game. I have not played it.
I hadn't heard of it.
And then Disney Illusion Island is very much like Rayman Legends from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mario Wonder is probably the vote though, because it's giving us something new.
Yeah, I mean it is phenomenal. So
I was gonna say don't spoil it, but I've pretty much seen all the videos of Mario. So go ahead.
Oh no! I wasn't gonna spoil it. Like it's just phenomenal. Let's see. Best sim / strategy. Just getting through some of the weirder ones.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really weird. So I have played 3 of these. I played Advance Wars 1+2, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. For me, you know what the problem is I immediately casted out Resident Evil 4 because it's a remake. But for me, I love Advance Wars 1+2 so much, but it's also a remake.
Yeah, Advance Wars is. I mean, I've played the originals. I haven't played the new one. I mean, it's a good game. I would lean towards Pikmin 4. They add a lot of new stuff to this one. Yeah, I think they'll. Yeah, I feel good with that one.
Yeah, I do like Pikmin 4. Let's see.
I didn't know you'd played Pikmin 4.
I played the demo.
Oh, the demo? Okay.
Yeah. Sports and racing. What do we got? FIFA.
I don't care.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I grew up with Forza, so I do love Forza. Let's see. Best RPG. Did you play any of these?
Nope.
I've seen a lot about Sea of Stars. Are you familiar with this at all?
No, I saw a lot of people playing Liza P, and then I've heard that Starfield's kind of a mess, or Starfield's not ready to be what it should be.
Yeah. Starfield is a mess. I am very anti Liza P, because it is so unabashedly, unashamedly Bloodborne.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything special about Liza P when I saw people playing. I was like, okay, yeah. I've seen this game 100 times.
Yeah, okay. I played Bloodborne. I love Final Fantasy 16. I haven't talked about it much, but I do love it. Let's see. Let's go best fighting game. This one is definitely important to me. This is my thing.
Well, it's not Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. We could go ahead and knock that one off the list.
No, it is definitely between Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1. I'm personally thinking Street Fighter 6 because Mortal Kombat 1 is almost just a beta. Like as a fighting game.
Street Fighter 6, from what I've seen, and I haven't played either of these. I've watched a lot of Mortal Kombat 1. Street Fighter 6 seems to have they've added a lot of stuff, like the the training city mode, whatever that is, and
Mhm.
I would lean towards Street Fighter Six just for the innovation. There's
Yeah.
not even there's Mortal Kombat One. I don't think has any new characters at all.
No, no,
So
it
I
doesn't.
would yeah I would give it to Street Fighter Six just over that alone. I was thinking about that. I was like, there's nobody new in this game.
Yeah. VR AR. Some of the honestly, I probably should have done like VR AR. Um. Oh, you know what? I did play Resident Evil VR. This is pretty nice.
You gotta give it to Lady D. Anytime you get a chance to
Yeah.
vote for Lady D, you gotta vote for Lady
Yeah.
D.
I did play Resident Evil VR. That's a lot of fun. It is terrifying.
Oh, I'm sure.
Um, best action game. Oh, I know what it is already. Did you play Hi-Fi Rush?
No, I don't know what
Oh,
that is.
oh, I love Hi-Fi Rush so much. So Hi-Fi Rush is like a Devil May Cry type game, but the way you do more damage and you get the combos is you have to press the button in sequence, like in rhythm with the background music.
Okay.
It's a mixture between Devil May Cry and Guitar Hero, and it's amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
uh,
I don't know any of these games other than
yeah.
Dead Island 2. So yeah.
I didn't really like Dead Island 2. I really like the first one. I want to play Armored Core at some point, just never got around to it.
Okay.
Um, so let's see. Let's just go ahead and knock out these right
Yeah.
down
Yep.
here.
Super Smash Brothers best multiplayer now. Um, I would actually for this one I would probably vote Party Animals. It's one of those quirky games where everybody's
Okay.
fighting over items and stuff. If you're talking about multiplayer,
Yeah.
because I don't think
Yeah.
I wouldn't think Mario Wonder is multiplayer. I mean, I know it is, but it's
Yeah.
not what I first think when I think of that.
Right, exactly. You know, there's adversarial multiplayer and there's cooperative multiplayer, but you know, whenever I think of multiplayer, adversarial is the way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking about these best adaptation. So this is going to be movies and TV and whatnot. So here's the thing. I know what's going to win, but I also know what should win. First of all, I want to talk about this. Gran Turismo is not an adaptation. This is based on a true story. There's no adaptation of a Gran Turismo, storyline. So this
Yeah.
shouldn't even be here. It should be Mario, but I have a feeling Last of Us is going to win.
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't had a chance to watch Twisted Metal yet, so yeah, I would vote Mario off
Yeah.
of this list.
Yeah, I do want to watch Twisted Metal. Apparently, it's better than most people were expecting.
Yeah, it's since I just got Peacock, it is on there, so I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
probably soon I'll watch it.
yeah. So this is a most anticipated game. So this one, this just kind of in general gets me excited for games coming up because like these all look really fun.
So just looking at this list, I don't care about any of these except for maybe Hades 2. I'm tempted by Hades 1, so that would be the one I'd be tempted by on this list.
Gosh, did you play Hades 1?
I have not. I have seen
Okay.
a couple of people play it, but I have not played it myself yet.
That's pretty much all I've been playing the past couple weeks. That and Destiny.
Yeah, it looks like something I'd get addicted to.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you will. Because you get addicted to what's the one? Vampire Survivor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine Vampire Survivor, but with RPG and dating mechanics.
Yeah. I played a lot of Death Row to Canada and what is that game? Gun something.
I don't know.
Oh well, it'll come to me here in a minute.
So for me, I'm excited for pretty much all of these.
Enter the Gungeon. That's the game I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Enter the Gungeon's a little bit too hard for me, though. I could get like to level 3 and I was like, forget it.
Sure. So if it were just me, I would vote for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. However, this is even though this is my profile, this is definitely meant for the both of us. I agree. Hades 2 looks a lot of fun too.
Okay.
Although I'm very excited for Final Fantasy 7.
Sure.
So that's all those. Best mobile game. So
Hello Kitty.
yeah. Have so really the only ones that I've played are Ever Crisis and Honkai Star Rail. Did you play Honkai Star Rail?
No, I haven't played any of these.
Okay, gotcha. So
I mean,
I
I played Hello Kitty, of course, but not none of
um so Honkai Star Rail is probably going to win this. I just played it because, like, you know how, like, let's talk about today's sponsor, Honkai Star Rail. You know, blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah.
this is like the new Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
But Ever Crisis, like, there's like a whole story mode. Like this is almost like an actual game on the phone. So we got to give it to that. I always like it whenever like mobile games are like real games. Best indie game. Are you familiar with any of these indie games? I saved these because I know that you're more indie savvy than I am. I didn't know if you were familiar with these.
I've heard of Dredge and Dave the Diver.
Know anything about them?
I think I would probably vote for Dredge just because that's the only one I've watched any videos of.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I've watched videos of none of these. I've heard of Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Next one is indie debut, so I guess Dredge it is.
Yeah, I know people go crazy for Pizza Tower. I could not get into it when I was watching it. Vinba was on one of the Nintendo Indie Directs, and
Okay.
it did not look interesting at all. So
Okay.
yeah, I would go with Dredge.
Gotcha. This is why I got you on here because I don't know anything about indie games, so you're helping me with that. This one's hilarious. Best community support. Let's read this because this I find insulting. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and games and game updates and patches. As a Destiny player, why is Destiny 2 on here? This has been the worst year for Bungie as far as communication. It has been horrible. It took them, there was like this really game breaking glitch. It took them 3 weeks to fix it. It was insane. And then they got doxxed, so it was impossible to actually load in and play the game for like a week. Not doxxed, DDoS. They got DDoS. I mean, why is Destiny on here? I have no idea why.
So I haven't played any of these, but I have heard, that No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk have both gotten
Yeah.
their acts together.
Yes.
So
I would go. I'm gonna go with. So I almost want to go for Final Fantasy 14 because I play that game, but Cyberpunk turned it just turned it around. You know what I'm saying?
that was a dead game, and they fixed it.
They turned it around. Best ongoing. For this one, do you play? Do your kids play Fortnite or Genshin?
I think my oldest plays both of those games.
Okay. So we're gonna rule out both of those. No matter what, I'm not voting for Genshin. No one will ever get me to vote for Genshin. I'm gonna hijack this one. I love Final Fantasy 14 so much.
Okay. Yeah, I think my son loves Fortnite because he can get Rick and Morty characters or this or that. He doesn't really care for the game.
Okay. Well, Zack Snyder loves Fortnite and he plays as Rick and Morty.
Of course, Zack Snyder does.
Yeah. Games for impact. I don't know what this means actually. Pro social media. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
This has deer on it. We're gonna go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's the least offensive thing I can pick. Like anything else I pick would make people angry. So this is why I wanted to bring up innovation and accessibility. especially for Street Fighter 6 and Marvel Spider-Man 2. Uh, the whole point of this category is really cool, um, because it's like how innovative they make their games so that way they're more accessible for people to play. My personal vote is Street Fighter 6 because their like modern control scheme and their hybrid control schemes are super super cool. The reason I wanted to bring up Spider-Man 2 because you said that it was difficult, like as far as like the swing in and controls. They actually fixed that in this game because they have swing assist in it.
Okay.
So it's definitely super cool. I think this is a cool.
My issue is I don't play enough on the PlayStation, so I
The
can remember.
controller.
Yeah, I don't. I can remember. What's triangle, what's square, what. So it's giving me like all these commands. I'm like, forget it.
Sure, sure. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Street Fighter 6 for this one because I think the hybrid control scheme and the modern control scheme, even though I am very much a purist with classic control scheme, um, if someone can beat me with a modern control scheme, then that's on me. Let's see.
We can just go from right to left. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Best performance. Oh man, I feel like I have to give this to Yuri on principle. Like he made Black Spider-Man not edgy. Um, I don't know. Any opinions?
Nope.
All right, got to give that one to Yuri. What do we got? Best audio design. Uh, I yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Hi-Fi Rush for this, just because from what I described, I assume that this
Yeah,
is
sounds
okay.
good. Yep.
Yeah. Score and music. Okay. Uh, I gotta be honest. I actually can't explicitly remember any Tears of the Kingdom songs.
I was just trying to think. I was like, what was the music of Tears of the Kingdom other than the opening sequence? I can't really remember any music.
Yeah, yeah. That's which is unfortunate. I mean, I feel the same way about Breath of the Wild, where it's just like someone like kind of picking around on the piano, but like it's not.
Yeah, and most of the game is quiet. It's the nature sounds and stuff.
Yeah. So, Hi-Fi Rush because it's like really dope with like it's all guitars and whatnot. It's
Okay.
really cool. Best art direction. I think this has to go to Mario Wonder. Like I've never seen a game look like this.
Okay. Yeah, because Tears of the Kingdom didn't really break any new ground because Breath of the Wild already did all that. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. I would agree.
Best narrative. This one I've already talked about how I'm not a fan of the setting of the story of Spider-Man 2. Did you watch any Phantom Liberty?
No, I haven't
No.
watched any of these.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So Phantom Liberty. So if this is your fault, by the way, you got me to watch Edge Runners, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to play these games, but I got to know what this universe is about. Phantom Liberty is really, really, really cool. I was a big fan of it. Game direction. Um, I have never understood this. I've never understood the difference between the best game and best game direction.
um, kind of the directing. Uh, hmm. I'm gonna lean towards Tears of the Kingdom just because they're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna introduce this whole new crafting system and everything, and it all came together.
Yeah, that's true.
I yeah, I would give it to Tears of the Kingdom. Mario
Uh,
Wonder is a close second there, but I think Tears of the Kingdom
yeah.
just overall what they were able to do with that game.
Mhm. So for game of the year, I think for both of us, it's definitely going to be Tears. Um, but I just looking at these game of the years, like it's almost kind of sad because this actually isn't a great list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No. um, Alan Wake 2, it's almost kind of like the Oscar bait that comes out in December. um, Alan Wake 2 is going to win a lot. I know Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is actually going to win Game of the Year.
I was just thinking. I think Mario and Zelda are going to split their votes. Like they're
Yes.
if it was just one or the other, they would probably win. But with both of them being on here, it's going to split the vote.
Yeah, yeah. So you heard it here first, folks. I Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win, but I'm not going to say it doesn't deserve it because like they made a full game, they released it, and it was a good game, which is quite a lot in this day and age. Especially like you look at Diablo 4 or something like that. But I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is just so good. And I can't believe that Final Fantasy 16 didn't even get a Game of the Year nod. There's, I do think that there actually is bias towards JRPGs when it comes to Game of the Year. Japanese games in general, actually, because I mean, the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 is here and Final Fantasy 16 isn't, that I don't know. I definitely think there's some bias that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is it. That is all nominees for, well, except for the esports ones that I've already did, without. So we voted. The Pop Culture Shark has submitted its vote for the Game Awards. Some other things that I'm hoping for, I'm hoping for some pretty cool reveals, hoping for some really good. I hope that guy comes back. The weird kid who
Yeah, the
Reformed
uh,
Orthodox rabbi.
yeah, Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Oh my god. What was it? Wasn't there like Summer Games that Jeff Keighley did and someone ran on stage? I have a feeling that like anyone who tries to get up on stage during the Game Awards, now that it's happened twice, Jeff Keighley's just going to shoot them on sight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that. Yeah, I'll be very surprised if it happens a third time.
Oh man, I'm really hoping it happens though, because like he went on like a 2-minute rant last time it happened. It's like Jeff, you're making it worse. Just move on.
Yeah, poor Jeff.
Yeah.
That is frustrating though when you put so much work into something that some
Oh, definitely,
a
definitely.
hole runs on stage and yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the that's the difference is so the guy who ran on stage at Summer Games Fest, that's not creative at all. He's the equivalent of a streaker.
Yeah.
The one weird kid, I mean, like he walked on stage
Like he
with
owned the place.
like
It
like
stood up.
like he was just up there with the developers. I think it was Elden Ring, right? So
Something. Yeah.
he walked up there as if he worked at FromSoft, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm a part of the game direction team too." Like that, I can respect that. I love that.
Yeah, and he waited his turn. He just respectfully waited, let them say what they
Yeah,
were going to say, and then
and then he was thanking his Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
yeah, still funny. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our show for tonight. What day is the Game Awards?
December 7th.
December
So
7th. Okay.
That's a Thursday, so we'll be able to talk the. I'm sure we'll have December 10th. We'll be able to talk about like reveals, and the winners
Okay.
and whoever else. Maybe we'll win some Steam decks if Christopher Judge goes long again.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so next week will be Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and the Silver Chair.
Sounds good. So that'll be part one of our discussion of the Chronicles of Narnia. My friend Daniel will be on here. He just texted me. We're gonna do a little equipment check here in a little bit, so he's raring to go. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. and that'll be next week at 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
Until then, I've been Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and we'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond.
See ya.